you're all doing well. Today I thought I'd do a video that's a little bit different than any of the other videos that I've done so far. I'll let you all in on a little secret. I have, not an obsession, but I really love names. Not just baby names, but like names in general. I just find them really interesting and I just really like them. And of course I am looking forward to naming my own children, not anytime soon, but someday. So if you guys didn't already know, I had a channel before I had this one, but I left that channel because it just didn't really go with my life anymore. It's still up on YouTube and it's called My English Style Life, and on that channel I did a baby name tag. It was really well liked and I really didn't expect that at all. And so I thought I'd do the same tag. I think it's been almost 2 years now since I did the first tag. So I thought that I'd do the tag again just to see how my answers have changed and maybe to see what some of your answers are, because I really loved reading some other people's answers in the comments in the old video. So I'd love to see your comments in this new video. I will leave all of the questions in the down bar, and so that you guys can see what the questions are and so that you can do the tag on your own if you want to. So let's get started. So the first question is to list your least favorite and your favorite names from the SSA list of 2012. Well, I figured that 2012 was a bit too much of a gap until now, so I looked up the 2014 list, and I will list them somewhere on this screen for you guys to see. There are 10 girls' names and 10 boys' names. So my favorite girl's name is Emma. I've always really liked the name Emma. It's quite common, not where I live, but I know that in other places it can be quite common, so I don't know if I'd ever really use it, but I mean, obviously this is the top 10 list of girls, so they're all going to be really common. I just like the way Emma sounds, and I like that there's not really a nickname for it, so yeah, that's my favorite girl's name. And my favorite boys' names, I have two, because I couldn't really pick between them. The first one is Noah. I really like Noah because it's a biblical name and it just is really different. You don't hear it very often. And my second favorite is Liam. I wasn't really a fan of Liam for a really long time, and then to be honest, when I started liking it, it was because of One Direction. But now I just like the name on its own, and I actually know a few Liams and I still really like the name. So yeah, Noah and Liam, and again, I wouldn't use nicknames for either of those because I think that they're just nice names on their own. For my least favorite names, I don't want to offend anybody with these. This is like all my choice. If you named your child this, I'm sure they're wonderful children. I just personally wouldn't use these names. So for a girl, I chose Zoe. I am not a huge fan of any name that starts with a Z. I don't know why, it might just be a sound thing. I know quite a few Zoes and they're wonderful people. I wouldn't name my child Zoe. I also feel like it's a bit of a younger kid's name. I like names that honestly sound like adults or like even like old lady names. And Zoe just doesn't fit that list. So it's definitely not one of my favorites. And for a boy, I chose Caden. I love the way that Caden sounds. I don't like this spelling. But I think for me, it's just become way too popular, like with the Aiden, Caden, Brayden. Any name that rhymes with Caden I just don't love. I think they've become far too popular. They're really nice names, but I feel like my kid would end up being like Caden A or Caden H. Like, they wouldn't be their own person, and I don't like that. So question 2 is, if you had twins, what would you name them? You have to name 2 girls, 2 boys, and then a boy and a girl. So for 2 girls, I've always had this really funny naming scheme that I'd love to use if I had twin girls, and I would name them Alice and Olivia. And the reason that I would name them this is because of the brand called Alice and Olivia. I've just always loved that brand. I think their clothes are beautiful, and so I think it would be really fun to have twin girls named Alice and Olivia. That's basically the only reason why I've chosen that. I do really like the names Alice and Olivia, but I think on their own I probably wouldn't end up using them. But as twins, it would probably be my #1 choice. For boys, I chose Theodore and Chester. Now, as I said, I really like the old lady, old man names, and Theodore and Chester are probably right on that list. As children, I would use nicknames, Teddy and Chex, which I really like. As they got older, they could continue to be Teddy and Chex, or they could choose to be Theodore and Chester. It would not matter to me at all. I just really like those names, and I think little twin boys would be so cute named Theodore and Chester. And then for a girl and a boy, I chose Otis and Lola. I just think that those are really cute names. Otis I heard on Jason Sudeikis and Olivia Wilde's son for the first time. And if you guys watched Garfield as a child, or even now, you'll know that the dog's name is Odie, I believe. And for some reason that always just reminded me of Otis. But then when I heard it on their son, I was like, oh, it can actually be used as a name. So I actually really started to like it, and now it's on my list. And Lola, I've kind of been on and off for a few years on Lola. I still can't really decide if I love it, but I just think that Otis and Lola would be really cute as twins together. Number 3, if you could change your own name to anything, what would it be? I would definitely change my name to Charlotte. It's probably been one of those names that I have loved for years and years and years. It was definitely on like my very first baby name list that I ever made. I just love the name Charlotte. I don't even know if I look like a Charlotte. I just feel like my name is very, it's not very common, but it's very old-fashioned and classic, and I like that feel. I like that my name's not trendy, and I think that Charlotte has the same feel to it. And so yeah, that's probably the reason why I love it so much, because I do really like my own name, and I probably wouldn't change it if I had the option, but if I had to, I would pick Charlotte. Question 4. You have 4 children, any gender, and you have to name them all with the same letter. So I picked letter H, just really randomly. I would never ever name all my kids with the same letter, just I feel like that's a restriction that I wouldn't be able to handle. So I chose 2 boys and 2 girls just to keep it fair. And for boys, I chose Henry and Hugo. I really like the names Henry and Hugo. I would probably use them for my own sons one day. Henry, I just feel has become really common, especially in the celebrity baby name world. Hugo's probably something I'd be more likely to use, just because I really like the British feel to it, and it's short, and it's manly, and I just really like it. And for girls, I chose Harlow and Hazel. They have very different kind of feels to them. Harlow, I really started to like when Nicole Richie used it for her daughter. I just like the old-fashioned feel, and I just think it's a really pretty name. And then Hazel actually has a lot of meaning to me because it was my great-grandmother's name, and so I think that would be a reason why I would want to use it, is because it's a family name and I really love family names. And Hazel has actually become quite common again, which I really like, and it's got a very different sound to it for a little girl, so Hazel would definitely be something I would use. Number 5, your favorite animal-inspired names. I chose one for a girl and one for a boy. For a boy, I chose Leo, which has something to do with a lion in its meaning, and I just really like the name Leo. I'm not sure if I'd use it because it sounds too much like a nickname to me, but it's really cute and I like it. And then for a girl, I chose Delphine, which I believe means dolphin in French. Again, not sure I'd use it, but I think it's a really pretty name. My favorite colored inspire names, again, I chose one for a boy and one for a girl. For a boy, I chose Navy. It's quite a uncommon name, and it's quite a new name, I think, for a lot of people to use, but I think it's kind of a cool name. Navy's actually one of my favorite colors, so it would probably be quite good for me to name my child Navy because it's a color I really love. And then for a girl, I chose Lavender. I believe this is the same name that I chose in my previous video, and it still hasn't changed. I love the name Lavender, not for a first name because I just don't feel like someone could pull that off as a first name, except in a movie like Harry Potter. But I just really like the name. I think it's so pretty. I actually got it from Harry Potter, and I just fell in love with the name right away, and I would definitely use it for a middle name someday. Number 7 and number 8 were kind of hard for me because it's your top 3 boys' names and your top 3 girls' names. Louie I chose because it's probably been my number 1 name for a while. It's probably the one that's been the longest on this list. Again, I know it's a One Direction name, but they all have really great names. So I really like most of their names, and it's not because I love One Direction, which I do, but I just really like their names. So Louie I chose, and I've heard it quite a few times lately, but I just think it's such a great name for a guy. It can be such a cute name on a little boy, and when he's older, it's such a like strong and classic name. I just love it. Simon, I actually really love biblical names, and so Simon is just a biblical name that you never hear very often, and I think again it's a really great name for a little boy and an older man. Frederick is actually a family name. It was my grandfather's middle name, and it's actually my best friend's middle name as well. And I just think it's a great name. I'm not too keen on the nickname Freddie, but I think you could almost keep that from happening if you really tried. For girls, I chose Evangeline, Eleanor, and Zara. And for two of those, Evangeline and Zara, they're quite new on my top 3 list. Eleanor, again, has been there for a very long time, but the spelling has changed. Originally, I liked the E-L-E-A-N-O-R spelling, so the classic spelling. But then I found this E-L-I-N-O-R spelling, which I believe Katie Couric used on her daughter. I believe that's who it was. And I just fell in love with it. I think it's more of a modern take on Eleanor, and it almost looks more like how it sounds. I just really like the name Eleanor, love the nickname Ellie. All the Eleanors I know I just love, and I think it just made me fall in love with the name. Evangeline is probably the newest one that I fell in love with. I always loved the nickname Eva, and I always wanted to kind of find a longer name because as an adult I'm not sure how well Eva would work. So Evangeline sort of is one that I think I could use Eva for, but also Evangeline's just such a beautiful name. And I was actually watching Nanny McPhee a few weeks ago, and one of the girls on that is Evangeline, and I just fell in love with it, and so that's definitely on my top 3 now. Zara, again, pretty new, but I just love it. My sister's name is Sarah, and so I think that would be a great way to honor my sister because they have the same meaning, and it's definitely a pretty common British name, so I may end up using that in the future. We'll have to wait and see. Number 9 is your favorite celebrity baby name. I have quite a few favorite celebrity baby names, so I tried to pick ones that were fairly recent. In the past year, the baby names haven't been my favorite, so I think these are from more like 2013, 2012 maybe. I chose one for a boy and one for a girl. Well, for a boy, I chose Bennett Armistead, and that is the son of Laura Linney. Bennett was actually a name that was on my list a very long time ago, and now my sister has put it on her list, with my permission, of course, and I'm really hoping she has a son so that she'll use it. Armistead is just a really cool middle name. I don't know if it would work for a first name, but I think as a middle name, it's like really strong and just really cool, and I just fell in love with it. Then for a girl, I chose Theodora Rose, who is the daughter of Robbie Williams. And I believe he is or was a member of Take That, which is a British band. Theodora is just a very interesting girl's name. Not sure if it could work on every girl. It's a bit clunky, sort of. But I think the nickname Teddy, which he uses for his daughter, is so cute. And Rose is definitely just a classic name. Can't really go wrong with it, and I really like it. Number 10, your ultimate guilty pleasure name. I actually had a hard time coming up with them because I'm pretty risky when it comes to names and I would use a lot, but at the same time, I don't have a lot of really unusual names that I like, besides Lavender, which I've already told you about. I ended up finding 2 on my list that I'm not sure I could use, but I might try. So for a boy, I picked Ignatius. It's quite a different name, but I think it could work in the middle name spot for sure. I don't know if I'd use it for a first because I have a feeling he would end up being called Iggy, and I am not a fan of that name at all. But I kind of like it. It's actually a celebrity baby name, and so apparently it works on some children, and I don't know. I like it. Most people probably don't, but I do. For a girl, I chose a Harry Potter name again, and this one is very common, so I don't know if I could use it. It's Hermione. And once you say that name, everybody immediately thinks Harry Potter. So I don't know if that could be used in the first name spot. I know in England it is quite a bit, so maybe, I mean, depending where I live. In Canada, it's definitely a Harry Potter name, like no doubt about it. So if I live here, probably not, but we'll have to wait and see. Number 11 was a really hard one for me. It's your most hated baby name. To be honest, I don't have a most hated baby name. I sort of have categories that I'm not too fond of. Again, if you've named your children any of these, sure, they're great people. I just wouldn't choose these for my children. For me, it's anything that's too trendy. I don't love anything that has like a weird spelling. I'm very against putting Y's in the middle of names. If anything, I would replace them with I's or anything else. I just don't like the look of it. Yeah, I'm not a huge unisex fan. But again, there's nothing that I really hate. It's just a preference thing, and I have my preferences and other people have theirs. So I don't really have an answer to that question. Number 12 was to choose a baby name based on a food or a drink. Recently, I have started to love a boy baby name, and it actually is a type of eggs. So I thought that was a good one to put in, and it's Benedict. I am a huge fan of Benedict Cumberbatch. I love the Sherlock show, and I actually haven't seen his new movie yet, but I'm really excited to, and so his name is definitely on my list now. And for a girl, I chose Olive. This one, again, is one that I've taken off my list and put back on my list and taken off and put back on, and I just can't decide if I like it or not. Like I said above, I like the name Olivia, but it's a bit popular, so I feel like Olive is a way to use that. You get the nickname Liv if you want. I don't know. Can't decide. It's on my list right now, so we'll see if it stays. Number 13, choose a baby name based on a month of the year. For a boy, I think this was the same as last time. It's August. Love the name August. Always have. Like the nickname Gus. There's not really much to say about it. I just like the name. For a girl, I believe that last time I chose Junia, which was based on June. Now I just like the name June. I think it's pretty. Don't know if I use it as a first name, but it's a definite possibility for a middle name. Number 14 was to choose baby names from Twilight. I definitely tried to choose ones that weren't super common, but I love the name Jasper, so that was my boy choice. I think it's a great name. I know a little boy named Jasper, and it just so different, but it's such a great boy's name. For a girl, I believe this was the same as last time. I chose Jane. Jane is will be the middle name of my firstborn daughter. It is in honor of my mother's middle name, which is Janet, so Jane's definitely on my list. It's going to be used. It's the only baby name I know that will be used, so I chose Jane. And the last question is probably my favorite question. It's to choose a baby name from your family tree. I love my family tree. My family comes from many different places. My dad's family is from this province that I live in. They've been here for hundreds of years. My mother's family comes from Scotland, so I have some very interesting names in my family, have always loved them, plan on using many of them. So I couldn't just choose one, so I chose 3 for girls and 3 for boys. For boys, I chose Archibald, Edwin, and Silas. For girls, I chose Isabel, Eva, and Sadie. So that's all 15 questions answered. Like I said, if you'd like to watch the video that I made back in 2013, I will leave the link below so that you can go watch that and compare my answers. Also, if you'd like to do this video, or if you'd like to just leave the responses down below, please link me to your video or leave your responses down below so that I can read them. I love getting new ideas for baby names and adding new ideas to my list. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know if you'd like to see more baby name videos, if you'd like to see more tags. As I said, I love doing baby name videos, so there'll probably be a few more that pop up around here and there. Other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye!